Welcome to Tough Questions,
Real Answers.
Real Answers. Well, this is Pastor Robert Lockhart and
Minister Rochelle.
And it's so good for us to be with you once again. And we're coming to you all the way from Seoul, Korea. Rochelle, what will we be talking about today?
Well, the hot debate right now in our country is the marital rape debate. So
Yes, the marital rape debate.
And so in some instances too, I know I've spoken with one or two individuals who feel as if their husband is becoming insistent that they sleep with them after they've gone out of the marriage, and so in that case it could result in rape as long as the woman continues to ignore the persistence of her spouse. So what would be a good advice to the woman, because she doesn't want, it will end up in marital rape if she continues to fight him off, but to get the man to understand that, until you decide to honor our marriage covenant, I'm not going to be intimate with you. And then also, to encourage him to go get a test to make sure that he doesn't have an STD, so that, you won't become sick or anything like that. But how would you advise a young woman to behave in that relationship if the man continues to pursue her?
And let me just put it in the context of men and women, because it happens on both sides. We have women that are unfaithful, we have men that are unfaithful. And so in any context, whoever the unfaithful party is in the marital relationship, and the other person is aware of that behavior, of course it creates problems in the marriage. And I think even if two couples are working out their situation and they want to reconcile, and I think and the other person says, hey, you are being outside of the marriage, involved with another person, whether it's with another man or another woman, and before we come back together sexually intimately, I would feel more comfortable if you would have a test to make sure that you don't have a sexually transmitted disease. That is understandable, and I feel the guilty party, if they're committed to reconciliation, I think that ought to be a part of the process, because you have been outside of the relationship, and we do live in a time where you might be involved with someone who have been involved with others, and you never know what that person has, and the person is saying, I don't want you to bring something home to me. And so those things need to be understood. And for someone to insist that, hey, I've been outside of the marriage, I've been sexually involved with another person other than my spouse, and now that my spouse, who I'm coming back to and we're reconciling, is saying, before we become physically intimate again, I want you to have a test. And for you to say, no, I'm not having a test, I think you're being totally unreasonable, and you're truly not committed to reconciliation taking place if you don't understand those concerns.
I think a good point here for us to inject is that in any relationship, the Bible already tells us what love is in 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And I think for all married couples, it's something that you should focus and concentrate on and try to foster amongst each other what love is. Love is kind, love is patient, it's not envious, it doesn't provoke, it doesn't seek its own. And so in a marriage relationship, the husband is the one to protect the wife, and the wife is asked or commanded by the Bible to love her husband and
to love his wife.
To love,
Yeah, I think in the context of the marriage relation, when we look at scripture, God puts the responsibility of loving and protecting and providing on the man. And then he puts the responsibility of nurturing, supporting, and caring for on the woman. Not that the man and woman don't participate in all of these, but definitely that's what we need to understand. So I think the thing is, people need to avoid adulterous situations. And I think the two ways, especially in the context of us as believers, is first of all, pay much attention to our relationship with God and pay much attention to our relationship with one another. And I think once we're committed to honoring God and honoring one another, then adultery would never be something that's a part of the marital relationship. And then such things as spousal rape will never even be a situation that we have to deal with, because we understand, especially as God's people, such behavior is totally unacceptable and is never encouraged by Scripture. And as a Christian man and as a Christian woman, there are places we will never even end up if we continue to honor God and honor one another in our relationship.
Right, and so we can keep in mind that marriage was to protect the love, or
Yes.
is to protect the love that you have for the other person, to seal that love and that protection with the covenant of the ring,
Yes.
which means it should never be broken. And so I want to encourage you to keep any kind of abuse or violence outside of your marriage. Take the time to sit and talk. You know, make sure that you're emotionally stable before you discuss any issues, so you can treat each other kindly and love each other like you committed to do on the first day that you decided to get married.
And there's no abuse in love. Love is kind, love is patient, love is called as long suffering. Love doesn't seek its own, it seeks the well-being of the other person's. And if we apply these principles in our family life and in our marital life, then any type of abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, will not find its place in our marriage relationship nor in our home.
Well, thank you again for joining us with tough questions.
Real answers all the way from Seoul, Korea, where God is doing great things. God is doing great things all over. Let Him do great things in your life. This is Pastor Robert Lockhart.
Ms. Rochelle.
Saying to all of you, have a great day and be blessed. And we look forward to seeing you next time on
Tough questions.
Real Answers.